Okay, we're back for our daily NBA predictions and best bets here on the channel for April 21st. We've got two games today in the National Basketball Association, with the Detroit Pistons going to New York for game number 2, along with the Los Angeles Clippers on the road in Denver, Colorado. Tomorrow, 3 games in the NBA, right? Bucks, Pacers, Grizzlies, Thunder, Catastrophe, game 2, and then Lakers, Timberwolves. Yeah, we'll be back. Lakers in 5. Lakers in 5, all right? LeBron always loses game 1. All right, we'll be okay. We'll get to that tomorrow. Anyways, folks, before we get into the best bets, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily NBA predictions here on the channel. Earlier today, we posted our MLB best bets. Make sure to check that out. Link is in the description down below. And also on Greedo Plays MMA, we have got our UFC Fight Night Machado, Gary versus Prates predictions over in Kansas City this week on Saturday. Make sure to check that out. Link in the description down below. Go subscribe to Greedo Plays MMA as well. We are on the ride. We are on the hunt for 1,000 subscribers over there. Okay, and also real quick, guys, before we get in the video, let's see how the Houston Rockets fan base is doing real quick. You guys, this is going in the NBA Twitter Hall of Fame. You are our owner, our franchise master, our kryptonite. We are your slave. What? God, this is ridiculous. I mean, the Lakers lost game 1, but at least it's not getting this bad. I don't know what to say. This is an all-time tweet. This is an all-time tweet. I don't know what to say. Imagine your parents reading this, right? Oh my God. Anyways, our first game of the day, the Detroit Pistons take on the New York Knicks. All right. I think this is going to be a competitive series all the way through. And I said this going into game 1. I thought the Pistons were going to cover that line, but ultimately I thought the Knicks were going to walk out of Madison Square Garden with a game 1 victory. Now, for most of that game, it looked like the Pistons were going to take it, or at the very least, they were going to cover. Obviously, they didn't, right? The Knicks came out with the victory, right? They go on that 19-0 run in the 4th quarter, and they end up winning the game by 11 points, right? Good on the Knicks. They found a way to win. It is still a very inexperienced playoff group that the Pistons have, kind of similar to what Houston's got going on, right? I mean, it's a bunch of guys who've never been in the playoffs before. New York has been there multiple years in a row now, and, you bring in Cat. They're a tough team, obviously, right? And ultimately, yeah, I think the Knicks are going to win the series. I think they're going to, right? I was kind of back and forth about who I actually think is going to win the entire thing going into the series. Watching that game 1, yeah, I do feel better about New York actually getting the job done. Now, when we look at things here, I think the Knicks rotation is where it should be at. Again, I said it going into game 1. I don't know what Miles McBride really gives this team anymore, I'm going to be honest. Because Cameron Payne is kind of just better than Deuce at this point right now. And yeah, McBride only plays 15 minutes. I think Cameron Payne should just be getting more minutes, honestly. I don't know. I think Cameron Payne's a much better player right now, at least offensively. I mean, the guy's plus-minus yesterday was the highest in the entire game, plus 23 for Cam Payne. Okay. That starting lineup's decent, though. No, it's more than decent. We know how good Jalen Brunson is, right? 34 points on 12 of 27 shooting. But again, he gets to the line. He's very effective. Karl-Anthony Towns, 10 for 14 from the field, 23 points. Detroit, though, they felt like they were in control for most of that game. It's the shooting out this squad, man. It's live and die, I feel like, by the three-point ball. And again, they're not going to be a team that's going to take the most threes in a game. They're going to take quite a few. They're going to take more than New York does. But I do think they're very competitive. They're very dependent on what they do from beyond the arc. I mean, they got 4 for 5 three-pointers from Tobias Harris on Saturday. Malik Beasley, who was one of the leading three-point shooters in all of basketball this season, goes 6 for 12 from the three-point line yet on Saturday with 20 points. Cade Cunningham goes 1 for 4. I mean, that's probably going to need to be at a higher clip going forward. But really, the Pistons have gone 8-man rotation in this playoffs. You might see a Ron Holland appearance some. He played very minimal minutes in that game 1. But for the most part, yeah, you're going to see 5 guys play. When they need to go small, they take Duren out and they go Malik Beasley. But then also, you can go Beasley instead of Asar Thompson at the same time, because I like Asar. His brother has been having a better season, I think, personally. And Asar really isn't the biggest scoring threat. He can score, but obviously when they are trailing and when they need to push, they're going to go to Malik Beasley. And Dennis Schroeder at the same time might play more minutes than Asar Thompson too. But they're going to get big minutes out of Cade, Hardaway, Tobias Harris. Those are starters. They're going to have to go big minutes. I mean, I was surprised Tobias Harris led them in points in game one, but honestly not surprised at the same time. That's a veteran, one of the few veterans on this entire bunch, him and Schroeder. And Tobias Harris had 25 points in that game. The Knicks are solid, though. They are. Again, I could easily see them just going 7-man rotation. Easily. Bridges, Adenubi, Towns, Brunson, Hart, obviously the starters, and then just Mitch Robinson, and Cameron Payne off the bench. I don't know. I don't know how much we're going to see out of McBride and Shaman. I mean, both those guys played a combined 25 minutes and scored 2 points. So I don't know how much of them we're going to see going forward in this Thibodeau rotation. But easily, though, I mean, Adenubi's playing 44 minutes. I mean, this is, again, what these guys have been, these guys have played their entire regular season up until this point. They play big minutes all year long, and that's always kind of what we've questioned about New York in the playoffs, is just how long can they play these extended periods and extended minutes all year long, and now we go into the playoffs and they're still doing it. Well, obviously it didn't matter in game one. They had their best quarter in the fourth quarter, where obviously that's where you'd expect them to potentially slow down. Now that's when they were at their best, right? They outscored the Pistons 40-21 in that quarter, after falling behind double digits for a short period in the third and early fourth. So I expect this game to be extremely close again. I do think the Pistons actually cover this time around. I think they do play a more competitive game. I think more shots fall for Cade Cunningham, who did not have his best game. Cade goes 8 for 21 from the field, 1 for 4 from beyond the arc. Didn't really get to the line all that much, but Cunningham, again, is a playmaker. He's going to move the rock, obviously, 12 assists in that game. But again, Cade did not have a great game. Jalen Duren struggled defensively. I've seen better games out that guy. Again, you don't want to just look at plus minus, but I mean, Duren minus 20 in that one. I think the Knicks, they do present a different style. They present a tough challenge for Detroit. I think we looked at the regular season games and saw the success that Cade Cunningham and the shooters around him were having. And they were like, all right, they should probably be able to play New York very competitive. How I see this series going, I think it's a very competitive. Right now, again, this can all change. But watching game one, we try not to just overreact by watching game one, but I feel like that was the Pistons' best chance to get a road game against New York. And not to say they can't get back in the series, but I think this game's close. But ultimately, I think the Knicks win this game too. And I just think that was the Pistons' best shot to win one at the Garden. So now I think they go back to Detroit. I think the Pistons probably take 1 of 2 at home, I'm going to be honest. Probably game 3. I think the Knicks get game 4, and they'll probably get a game 5 too. I just feel like that was kind of their best shot. I don't know. They could prove me wrong, I'm going to be honest. But I think after you get another very competitive game here in game 2, that ultimately, I think the Knicks close. Because again, when you put the ball in Jalen Brunson's hands at the end of the game, I mean, he's going to hit big shots, right? I mean, hell, I think it can't be understated. The huge 3 that Cameron Payne made to cut into that lead when they were, get that, I think it's either cut the lead or take the lead. I think it was to take the lead in the fourth quarter. I mean, that's kind of what, swung all their momentum to their side. I know they were already on a run at that point, but it's big shots like that. And it's the big time plays that this Knicks team will make. They get to the line more effectively than Detroit. I feel like I think the Pistons shot more free throws, but I think when it matters most, Jalen Brunson can effectively get to the free throw line. I just think, honestly, the Knicks right now are just better than Detroit. They have the experience in the playoffs. I don't know how far this is going to take them, to be honest, because now they get Boston after the series. And again, this is still hypothetical. We have a long way to go. New York's supposed to win 3 more games in the series. But tonight, yeah, I do expect them to beat the Pistons. It's at home for the Knicks. I think it's going to be much closer because I don't think the Pistons are going to let the Knicks go on that big run. And I think, honestly, through 3 quarters, we're going to kind of see what we saw the first time around. I think we might even see a Pistons lead again going into the fourth quarter. I just think they deal with adversity a lot better this time around. They don't let the Knicks go on that huge run. But I do think the Knicks kind of just scratch and claw their way back into it. And in the end, I think they'll win this game by about 4 points, right? I think this game will probably end at the free throw line. It'll be, Jalen Brunson sinking 2 free throws to put them up 4 and putting the game out of reach for Detroit. So again, we look at the line, right? Pistons plus 6.5, money line plus 200 for Detroit, minus 240 for the New York Knicks. I'm going to be honest, not much value in this game. I don't mind the plus 6.5 for Detroit. I wouldn't play minus 240 outright as well. I think the better value is definitely in the next game we're going to talk about in a few moments here. But again, we predict every single game. We've done it all year long here on the channel. We predicted every single NBA game. Got to give you this one as well. I'm going Pistons plus 6.5, but I'm going Knicks at home to ultimately win the basketball game. Money line minus 240. Take that how you will. Okay, on to our second and final game of the night. The Clippers are favored once again in Denver. Okay, we're taking the Clippers to win game 2. For as good of a performance that was for the Nuggets in game 1, I feel like they just, I don't want to say got lucky because that's not what it was. They just got by, man. I don't know. I don't think this is sustainable. I don't think it is. Guys, you look at the clutch shot Russ hit in the fourth quarter. That's great, right? And Russ was great defensively in this game. He still is not an effective scorer for Denver. I'm just going to be honest. He's not. He went 5 for 17 from the field. Yes, he had a big 3 to, he was 1 for 5 at the time, and he was 1 for 4 from the 3-point line when he took that big 3 and hit it, obviously, and then Harden ties it up with a floater on the other end. He's still not very efficient. I'm just going to be honest. Yes, Michael Porter Jr. is going to have better days. He shot the ball 4 times, and he wasn't getting clutch time minutes. It was Russell Westbrook instead, and hell, you look at Aaron Gordon, who played 46 minutes. Jokic played 46. Jamal Murray played 48, and Brown played 45. Again, an overtime game. But really, though, how many guys are really playing in the playoffs for the Nuggets? 6, 7? I don't know what the Peyton Watson minutes are going to look like. Because a big part of what we were talking about in terms of the Mike Malone firing and the different visions that the general manager of the Nuggets and, compared to what Mike Malone had was, how are we going to deal with the vets, right? Guys like Russell Westbrook. And hell, again, I know DeAndre Jordan is not going to get playoff minutes for the most parts, but guys like him, what are they going to do with these guys? Because the youth movement here with Peyton Watson, with the Jalen Pickett, hell, with the Zeke Naji over DeAndre Jordan. It's all right, we need to build for the future here, and we want our young guys playing down the stretch rather than Russ. I don't know how Adelman's going to take this, obviously, but it seems like, yes, Russell Westbrook is going to be an integral part of this postseason run. So Russ is obviously getting clutch time minutes, which, sure, it worked out in game 1. I don't know how far that's going to take them, though. This is a game the Clippers were in control of, I felt like. I know, again, this game was always close, right? I mean, the biggest lead in this game was, 6 points? 8 points, maybe? It was always a close game, I understand. It always felt like the Clippers were just, it wasn't, it wasn't to this degree, but it kind of felt like, Lakers Nuggets the last couple of years. The Clippers always kind of ahead. The Nuggets will make their run. The Clippers will kind of, stay at a 2-3 point lead, but they're kind of always ahead. And then at the very end, the Nuggets tie it up. They take the lead, and then we're going to overtime, and the Nuggets get the win by 2 points, right? Clippers did cover in the last game, just saying. Regardless, I think the Clippers seal the deal here and win this game too. I still believe that this Clippers team's much better than Denver. I think it's important we don't overreact to game 1s. I think it's important that we look at what happened in game 1 and obviously, adjust from there. I still think the Clippers are the better basketball team. And, looking forward, who's a bigger threat to OKC? I'm going to be honest, I don't know if anyone's really a threat for the Thunder right now. I understand it's just the Grizzlies, but my goodness, you just don't do that to teams in game 1s, except for OKC. I mean, Shea scored, 14 points? They still won via the blowout. Regardless, I think the Clippers are still the better basketball team. Game 1's game 1. That's fine. I don't think the Nuggets are able to beat this team 4 times. The Clippers are the deeper squad. Kawhi had a good night. He did. Kawhi goes 9 for 15 from the field, 22 points. Zubac was good like he's always been. James Harden has a good game. Norman Powell was decent as well. Chris Dunn, for what he's worth on offense, obviously, just in the starting lineup for defense, he did a decent job. Honestly, I didn't think the Clippers played that bad of a game. It's just, all right, one of these Nuggets games where they know how to close. I'm not going to deny that. This is a team that's been there, done that. They've won before. I mean, those are the type of games they're going to win. But honestly, if you're the Clippers, all right, you just need to get one game here on the road. In a series that is supposed to be as tightly contested as this one is, just get your one road win. And then you go back to the Intuit Dome, tied 1-1, right? I think this is the road game that they do get. Again, I think the Nuggets look decent, right? I still don't think this is fully sustainable against good teams like this, right? They are very still dependent on Jokic, right? Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon were good, and obviously Jamal Murray always just shows up in the playoffs. That's what he does. He goes, 7 for 20 from the field, 3 for 7 from the 3-point line. But I mean, Jamal Murray's going to hit his big shots. I don't think Russell Westbrook is going to continue to play that well in crucial minutes. I don't believe it. We'll see what involvement MPJ has. And also, guys, the Nuggets whistle, it's just, The Nuggets and the Warriors just have the best whistles. I don't know. I'm going to be honest. They just, again, this isn't the entire story. 11 more free throws than the Clippers. Aaron Gordon gets to the line 10 times. It's just, I don't know. They get a lot of calls their way. And the Clippers play aggressive defense. They play good defense too, and it does make it a little hard on these guys sometimes when you can't kind of, you can't put your hands on the guy because any close call is going, they're going to the free throw line, right? I mean, James Harden had 5 fouls in that game, right? Chris Dunn, who sure has gotten into foul trouble all year long, 4 fouls in that game. Hell, Bogdanovic, again, I know they don't really care about Bogdanovic's foul trouble. He goes 12 minutes, 4 fouls, right? And yes, he's in there again, just to eat minutes for some of the starters at times. But just saying, like, the Nuggets calls, they're very favorable towards them. Anyways, the Clippers are the deeper team still. I mean, they are going to go 9-man rotation in the playoffs. It really is a 7 with Simmons and Bogdanovic just playing in certain spots, right? The other 2 bench guys who are going to play 20-plus minutes, at least that's what we got in Game 1 from Los Angeles, was Nick Batum, who played 24 minutes, 9 points, 3 for 6 from the three-point line. I mean, that's really all he's going to do. Batum is in that game to shoot threes, kind of play defense at his old age, but Batum is there to give them a spark, coming off the bench. He's a guy who can knock down shots. Derek Jones, right? We know how good that guy is at times. Athletic freak, former dunk contest champion, but he played 24 minutes in that game. He can give you a decent defensive effort, right? 4 points, but again, Derek Jones is not out on the court with Norman Powell, James Harden, and Kawhi Leonard to score, right? Kind of what Chris Dunn's out there for, right? Dunn is the obvious 5th option, but I think the Clippers are going to be able to win this game. Guys, I've said it all year long. I've been very impressed with James Harden, right? When we felt like this guy's career might have just been in the dumps, we kind of thought, he's here like Westbrook's on the Clippers. Oh, what's going to happen, It's the end of it for him. He's been great this year, obviously. All-star. He's the reason they're at where they are. I mean, Norman Powell, too, in all fairness, and the scoring ability that he's had all year long. But you look at Game 1, and you look at that Game 1, right? I mean, Norman Powell is not the guy leading their team in points. It's James Harden with 32, right? 32 and 11 assists. Ivica Zubac, best year of his career. He's in the running for most improved player with, I believe, Cade Cunningham and Dyson Daniels. It's going to go to Cade probably. But anyways, Zubac has been great this year. By the way, Austin Reeves robbed of most improved player. I know he didn't have a good Game 1. We'll get to that tomorrow. But where's Austin Reeves for most improved player? Regardless, Zubac has been good. He had a good game against Jokic, I thought. Again, given the circumstances and how great Jokic is, being a top 3 player in the sport, I thought Zubac did a decent job. Scoring-wise, too, we know Jokic doesn't really play defense, at least, in the middle of the game. When it matters, Jokic will try to play defense, but he's not a very good defender. Zubac did a good job, again, and I understand, most of his shots just right into the basket, right? I mean, it's high pick and roll, he's rolling. Harden's either going to hit him or Harden's going to pull up, or he's going to look to drive, obviously hit that float game, or try to rip through and obviously grab the foul. So yeah, Zubac, a lot of his shots are bunnies, right? And he takes 15 of them, he goes 10 for 15. But that's what Zubac is on the court to do. With the Nuggets, we'll probably continue to do is look to foul him, because Zubac in that first game, again, he hasn't never been the best free throw shooter, dating back to his days with the Los Angeles Lakers, but he goes 1 for 4 from the free throw line in that game against Denver in Game 1. We'll see what effort Kawhi Leonard, or what we get out of Kawhi Leonard. We know Leonard's still really good. Obviously, the offense doesn't revolve around him anymore. It is around James Harden and Zubac with that pick and roll action. But it just speaks to how good this team can be, honestly, right? I mean, I've given the Clippers praise towards the end of this year. I mean, when they've really figured it out down the stretch, right? This is a 50-win team. They have so many options offensively with Norman Powell, who again did not have his best night. Guys. Norman Powell, I don't think he's going to continue to have 33% nights from the three-point line. He'll probably take more threes, right? But I mean, he goes 2 for 6 from beyond the arc, 12 points. Powell should be better than that. And it speaks volumes about this team when Kawhi Leonard and Norman Powell are second and third options, right? I mean, Kawhi, that mid-range game is still elite, 22 points in Game 1. I mean, I think the Clippers get the Nuggets tonight. The goal and the mission for the Clips here on the road in Denver was just take 1. Because if you feel like you're in a really great spot going back to Inglewood. And I think they did exactly that. I think they're going to do exactly that tonight by beating Denver. And obviously the odds makers and the odds themselves reflect that, right? Clippers minus 120, Denver plus 100. I'm going with the road team to win. In Denver, they covered in Game 1 in overtime. This time, they're going to seal the deal and win the game outright against the Nuggets. I'm taking Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, and company here in Denver to beat the Nuggets and tie the series up at 1 game apiece. In the early spot, obviously, in the Eastern Conference, we have the New York Knicks to win a tight one against the Pistons, going up 2-0 before they head to Detroit, Michigan later in the week. So folks, thank you all for watching our NBA predictions and best bets for the 2 games here on Monday, April 21st. If you haven't yet though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. We'll be back tomorrow for more daily NBA best bets, and also make sure to go check out the MLB best bets linked in the description down below as well. Folks, thank you all for watching, and Mamba forever.